My guest is award-winning, born in Dublin novelist, dramatist, screenwriter, promising trumpet player, Roddy Doyle. His very first literary effort was called Your Granny's a Hunger Striker. Now resides in a library. It wasn't so good, but you got better. On the trumpet, why the trumpet?
Well, it's so elegant, really, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And I was told by somebody who I live quite close to that I was snoring at night. And I was asleep, so I didn't care. But she Googled, and apparently learn a brass instrument is quite a good way of curtailing the snoring. So I thought that was a great idea. So I bought a trumpet. We were at a movie, and there was an instrument shop beside the cinema, so I went in and bought a trumpet. And got quite excited at the prospect of having a trumpet. And the guy who sold me the trumpet said, "You'll be playing tunes by next Christmas." And I thought, that's great. I didn't believe him, but I thought that's great. But then, as I was writing this novel, The Guts, I thought that would be a lovely message for Aoife, Jimmy's wife, to give to Jimmy. So he gets a trumpet for Christmas, and she gives him that message that you'll be playing tunes by next Christmas, because he is just about to start chemotherapy.
Yes. And did it help his snoring, or did he snore?
Jimmy, no, that wasn't an issue. That wasn't an issue.
Okay.
And I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's had any impact on my snoring though.
Well, Jimmy, the character, faces death, chooses life. He loves the music. He loves the hustle. He loves his buddies. What's at the core of most Irish novels, do you think?
I have no idea.
Yours and others. Somebody said it was dishonesty.
Who said that?
I don't know. I can't remember. I was reading up on something the other day. It said at the core of every great Irish novel is dishonesty.
Most of those general statements are utter drivel, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and they masquerade as cleverness. I have no idea what that even means, to be honest with you.
No.
I think possibly at the core of most of mine is just the notion that life goes on and it's actually probably quite worth living. You know, that's
Yes.
what and we confront struggles, but actually, more often than not, it's well worth trying to get out of these things and get ready for the next one. But that life is just worth living. That's probably at the core of mine. But I don't really give much general thought to.
But you do write so well about the working class.
Well, I'm glad you said that. Yeah, I would hope so. Yeah, and there's a great dignity to them, and I think even in the crudity of life, there's a great dignity, and in the profanity, there's a great creativity, and I kind of admire people. I really admire people who just get on with their lives.
We were talking at dinner the other night about the great characters we have grown up with and known, and everybody feared they've gone away.
Yeah.
The great characters
Is
who
that
are
just-
out of the box.
Yeah, this
wildness.
notion that great characters don't exist anymore, I can't accept that. I think we all fall into that one as we get older. Music is crap. It used to be great, and there are no characters anymore. And I was in a bar close to where I live around about Christmas, and this drunk guy who'd just come back from Ireland for the first time in 10 years was saying the same thing. And he was saying, that there was a guy that used to be at the bar there, and that old character, he's gone now. Where's he gone? And I said, he probably died of alcoholic poisoning, but he will be replaced.
Right.
There's
By
always
another
got to
good
be,
alcoholic.
He may not look like the old guy because actually you're the old guy now, So, I think an awful lot of energy is expended in just rubbishing the present day. Mm-hmm. And I fall for it myself on occasion because it's part of what you do when you reach my age. But I don't actually believe it at heart. When you're in the company of young people, and I am, even my own children, why would you feel pessimistic?
Well, I guess there's many reasons, but one is a midlife crisis, perhaps, or identity crisis as you age. Have I done it all? Who am I?
Yeah.
Have I examined my life? What's the third stage?
Why the word crisis? How long can a crisis be? Because midlife actually takes quite a while to get through,
You noticed.
It starts for some people at the age of 23 and goes on till they're 57 or perhaps even longer. So, it's part of life. And actually what I do have in common with my friends is that we're quite content being the age we are. It's humiliating in some ways, and when you have to grunt when you bend down to pick things, and you don't really need to grunt. It's not a physical thing. It's somehow some sort of a message that's imparted that you've reached an age now, therefore you must grunt. And we enjoy, it's funny as well, so actually we're all quite comfortable being the age we are.
Well, part of it is you didn't do what you dreamt you would do sometimes, like a footballer. Did you ever want to be a footballer?
Of course I did when I was a child, yeah. And actually when I'm watching football, I still want to be out there on the pitch, even though I was a hopeless footballer. And the notion of maybe running out onto the pitch now is laughable, of course, But but the little boy is always in there.
For sure.
And I think that's quite a
The little
healthy
boy
thing.
never leaves. Sometimes the little girl leaves. I hear, we grow up, you don't.
No, I don't accept that. And actually, I think the best company, either male or female, are the people who still have regard for the little boy and the little girl in them. And I think most of the best mad women are the ones who still have the little girl in them.
Yes, never too late to have a happy childhood.
No,
I think it was Mark Twain. Not sure.
I've no idea.
Never too late to have a happy childhood. Let's say Twain said it. I'm thinking. So back to the days when you would get rejection slips, you'd write, get a rejection slip. What kept you going?
I just liked the writing, and I was in no hurry. I wasn't trying to escape from one thing into another thing. I was teaching, and I loved teaching. But I had time on my hands. I didn't have a family. I had a lot of holidays, a lot of free time. I was living on my own at the time. So actually getting into the discipline of the writing was relatively easy. It took a while to try and force myself to spend a few hours writing every day. But after a while it became quite habitual. And there were moments when I'd be looking forward to it. I'd be coming home from work looking forward to doing a few hours, continuing up the story, So, but I wasn't desperate to escape from teaching.
Of the 10, the Snapper, the Van, the one that won the Booker,
Addie Clark,
ha ha ha. Has there been a book you've written that you most relate to, or you had the most fun doing?
I don't have fun. I think I don't trust the word fun, although I will accept that it does occur occasionally. But I think the trick is to give people the impression that it was fun and that it was easy. And I don't feel a burning need to go around telling people it was actually very, very hard, unless they're students, writing students or something. I think it's quite important to get across the point that it's labour. There's no magic to it very often.
And
it's
discipline.
labour. It's labour and discipline. It's as boring as that. It's like everybody else's occupation in that regard. So I don't often have fun. If I was to say what book am I happiest with, it's probably The Woman Who Walked Into Doors. That's about a woman called Paula Spencer who's been in a really, really bad marriage. And that was the most satisfying book to write because it was probably the hardest. And it took a long, long time for me to start getting it right. And once it did click, it really clicked, and there was huge satisfaction in writing that book.
Domestic abuse before it was talked about so much.
And it was such a closed world to me, because the gender was a mystery to me to a degree. Had to make sure every word was hers and not mine, because she narrates the book. I'd never witnessed domestic violence, and I had to try and imagine that. My experience of physical pain was very, very limited, just a little help to me. So it was very difficult to get close to that character.
And being a male and wondering why men do it. That must
and actually also why, because the simple tabloid reaction would be, well, why didn't she leave him after the first time he hit her? So why do women stay? And I had to understand that, not just understand it in a cold, logical way, but try to understand it emotionally. Because I suppose we all believe that when something awful happens, it's the last time it'll happen.
Well, the women I know who have been in abusive relationships will tell you there is still love there. Like you love this person and he hits you, then he's regretful and he promises not to, and you know the cycle.
Yes, and I think a lot of people they don't like accepting that mucky, messy complication, They prefer, maybe it's a diet of soap opera, they prefer black and white, easy answers, easy solutions, and they don't happen really, So I had to, do an awful lot of thinking. And ultimately, when it comes to writing a novel, it's all about words, It's not about sitting down and becoming the character and imagining her life. It's finding the words that do that. So it took a long time. So even though the book I nearly finished that book nearly 20 years ago, it's still very fresh, and it'll probably be always the best book I ever wrote, I'd say.
And from the page to the stage, when you put the commitments into music, what was that like?
An amazing experience, just fantastic. I hadn't planned to write the script myself, and then gradually nudged myself towards it. And when I did it, I enjoyed that, choosing the songs that would propel the story. You know, the band would go into a song in one state and come out another state. So the songs had to, in a way, be part of the narrative in a way that they're not in the movie or necessarily in the book either. So I was choosing songs for different reasons, which is never a hardship, you know, listening to music. And then watching the whole, I went to London for 3 months to watch or to take part in rehearsals because we did a lot of rewriting. And that was just fantastic. Occasionally now a bit tedious watching again and again and again. But watching the whole set and watching the actors then becoming part of the set and the timing of the thing and the band then come on board and the whole thing was just great. And virtually all the cast were not born when I wrote the book, you know.
Yes.
And that itself was a nice thing.
I'm
somehow
sure.
or other. Yeah, it's not important as such, but it just makes me feel good.
When was the last time you were at a music festival?
I go to one every year called the Electric Picnic, which it forms the end of that book, The Guts. I missed last year because I was in London, but I've been to the previous 5 or 6. So the last time I was at an outdoor music festival would have been August 2012.
I think they are things you don't forget, and you can always go, even though you're of a certain age.
Well, I've been to a few.
But the smells and the dirt.
Yeah, I've been to a few, and I felt a bit freakish. Very much the oldest person in the field.
Well, perhaps you were.
But this one, the Electric Picnic, is actually aimed at people my age, a bit older and younger. So yeah, there are a lot of young people there, but there are a lot of veterans there as well. So we all feel quite comfortable there.
And what would you like us to take home from The Guts?
Oh, I just like people to enjoy reading it, maybe be moved by it. But I don't feel I should be following people and saying, you know, tapping them on the shoulder and saying, these are the things you must take from The Guts.
Take up the trumpet.
Yeah, well,
Don't get cancer, take up the trumpet.
Yeah.
Let me think.
Yeah.
Something else, right? And
be nice to your family.
Be nice to your family. Your writing center is it in Dublin?
It is, yes, Fighting Words.
How great.
Good name.
Good name. What do you do there?
We work with elementary school kids in the mornings and then high school kids in the afternoons. And then also we work with young people and children outside of school time in the various shapes or forms, encouraging them to write, encouraging them to be creative and to almost, you know, don't be afraid of failure. Don't be afraid of changing your mind. Don't be sitting around waiting for inspiration. Just start writing. So we just encourage them to write.
Okay, and you'll be collaborating, or you are collaborating with footballer
Roy Keane, yeah.
Roy Keane.
Yeah, I'm writing a book.
I'd like to
with
collaborate
Roy.
with Roy Keane.
Yes, I believe women are quite fond of him.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And when it's done, it'll be his memoir, his what?
Yes, it's called. We'll be calling it, I think, the second half. There's already a memoir which follows most of his footballing career, and this is life after football. And yeah, I'm working with him on that, and we'll be delivering it in June.
Great. Look forward to it. Jesus, nice to meet you. How do you say goodbye in Irish?
Slán Lat.
Salanla?
Slán Lat.
Slán Lat.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get locked together one day.
Oh yeah, maybe.
That means
perhaps.
drunk, doesn't it?
It does.
Okay, I thank you. Roddy Doyle, The Guts, and on the back, this book made me bust, yes, a gut, and darn near broke, and certainly stole my heart. Beautiful stuff from a great writer. Wayne Johnston said that, and thanks for being here with us today. There will be many more saucy, entertaining, wise, and delightful guests to come here on Shaw TV.